What's going on, team? You know what it is, back again with another workout review. Today is day number 6 of our 30-day series. Crushed it with an awesome shoulder workout. I'm pretty excited to show you these first 2 exercises. Feeling pretty refreshed after yesterday's day off, hence why there was no video. So I apologize for you guys that were looking forward to it. But you got to make sure that you are recovering and taking that time to rest. Now, again, before we get into it, be sure to subscribe with those notifications on. You do not want to miss out on all these videos coming your way. And also be sure to be following me on Instagram. There's a lot of cool stuff I post on there throughout the day. Funny stuff that typically doesn't make it into these full videos, but just cool little updates that I have, again, going on throughout the day. With that all said, let's get right into this workout. As always, I've got my laptop here that I can walk through these clips with you guys. And again, I'm super excited about these first 2 exercises. I've done these before, but it's really cool, and I don't see too many people doing it on the YouTube tier, so I'm pretty excited to show you guys these exercises. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Exercise number 1 is going to be a log press. As you can see here, I worked up to a pretty heavy log press, for me anyways. These kind of strongman-esque exercises aren't typically my best. So again, apologize for my maybe not perfect form, but really cool way to start out your shoulder exercises. And again, following along with our outline that I will link up here for you. We want to make sure that we're staying with that heavy compound, and this is a perfect way to, again, start out this workout. The log press is definitely a heavier implement to use. That's kind of the point of it. And you're really almost incorporating like a half of a deadlift, or basically a full deadlift, to really get that up onto your kind of upright rack position to initiate this exercise. So again, this is a really cool one. The grip position is more neutral, so it's more kind of a hammer grip almost, if you will. Super cool exercise, and I love it to start it out with, again, a little bit of a heavier compound lift. So I had a blast going through these, and I worked up to the heavier log. Do not ask me how much it weighs. I really don't know. It felt somewhere close to like 150, 160 pounds. But again, it's really just me feeling it out. You can see I did incorporate a little bit of some soft knees, a little bit of some knee bounce to get that weight up. Again, with this heavier kind of compound lifts, you want to still keep really good control, but you may use a little bit of some cheating, if you will, basically just to help you out with this heavier lift. Again, I take that back. It's really not cheating, but you're really just using your full body position to get that weight up. So with this log press, I worked up to, I think, about like 4 or 5 repetitions. There's a few sets I think I did up to like 6 or 7, but again, working into that heavier weight. Now, for exercise number 2, I actually kept the log there, but added in the stability trainer with the earthquake bar. I've mentioned this a couple times, but for me, shoulder stability is not one of my strong suits. I definitely have some less stable shoulders than maybe I'd like. So working with this superset, I still kept the log, but I actually dropped it down. You can't quite notice, but it's actually a smaller log. And I just added some extra weight on the side to kind of make up for that difference. But again, overall dropping that weight a little bit. So after that log press, I worked right into that earthquake bar. So just a standing military press. It's kind of more of a push press there, but basically with that earthquake bar, it is a super light and flimsy bar, plus the bands and hanging the weights from the sides really creates a very unstable apparatus to be lifting with, and it really helps to work on that shoulder stability, which again is something that I really wanted to focus on in these 30 days. So walking through this, again, I still kept a little bit of a heavier log press, I think still going about like 8 reps or so. I did drop that weight to accommodate for, this superset. A superset, real quick, is just basically combining 2 exercises that you do back to back, and then resting after that second one. But again, overall, loved this one, and I was really, really happy. I don't know why this just felt so amazing for me this day, or today, but it really felt good, and I think I'll definitely remember this superset for later on. Again, as always, if you saw my first shoulder workout that we kind of kicked off, I think the series with, it was a little bit of a different start. Like I said, I'm kind of keeping that outline here, but I really want to make sure that I'm trying a couple of different things and changing it up for a little bit of some variety throughout, again, these 30 days. All right, so after that superset, I worked into something that I will admit, this is totally new to me, and I just kind of made this up on the spot, but I wanted, it's gonna sound kind of funny, but I wanted consistent resistance. And when you're doing the dumbbell lateral raise, sometimes towards the bottom, you feel like the weight completely leaves your shoulders and it's kind of just hanging in your hands now. You might understand what I'm talking about if you've done these a lot before. But what I did here was I added the band. So I was holding onto the band and the dumbbells themselves, and then having the band under my feet. That way there was always constant tension, even at like kind of the bottom portion of that. again, I just kind of tried this out. It was a little bit of a new thing for me. I don't know if I'll keep it. It felt pretty good, but I think I was just having fun, especially feeling it after those last 2 exercises. I just wanted to try something new, and this is what I came up with. Real quick, just on that note, I want you guys to understand that, again, I've said this a couple times before in previous videos and posts. I want exercising to be fun, not only for myself, but for everybody else that I work with. So even if you're just trying something new, like this, weird band implement here, band exercise, whatever you want to call it, I want you guys to understand that having fun in the gym, trying new stuff, it's kind of all a part of the game. And if you're not feeling comfortable, then feel free to ask somebody that maybe looks like they know what they're doing, how you can kind of modify things for a different feel or a different squeeze. Always about that squeeze. But yeah, again, point is just have fun with the exercises and don't be afraid to try some wacky new stuff. Alrighty, so coming on to exercise number 4, I believe here, moving back into these cables. This was something that I did have in my previous shoulder exercise, so you can always go back and check that out if you want to. But the point here is wrapping those cables behind your back and pulling from that kind of rear, almost like a rear delt type position. But again, point is with this is you're coming from behind your back rather than those cables being in front of you, which is typically what you might do on a cable lateral raise. Both feel great, but for some reason for me, I just absolutely love this variation. I feel like it even works up into my middle back and trap, which isn't always something that you want to happen when you're doing these side lateral raises. The side lateral raise is one exercise that's kind of tricky to have actually activate what you're trying to work on. So it's really important to have a lot of control with these guys. Either way, it felt great to do these. Again, I had them in my first exercise or my first shoulder workout that I did. You guys can probably either check the description or I'll link it here for you to check that one out if you want to again. But classic, wanted to keep it in here again. Felt great. Almost done here. So I believe this is now exercise number 6. I might have lost count. Point is, moved it on to the between the leg lat raise as well. I think I did actually have these in my previous workout again, but you can probably guess I really like them, so hence why they're in this workout as well. It's cool to go between the legs to really kind of have that cable, again, not pulling you in front or not pulling you in behind like I just was, but to kind of keep it in that middle line of your body. Again, these did feel great. I will emphasize one little thing to maybe try out is have an even number of sets when you're doing single arm stuff. Maybe this is just kind of a personal preference, but having an even amount of sets means that I can start on the opposite side twice. So I know that might be kind of confusing, but with that first set, I might start with my right and finish on my left. This way, that second set, I can now alternate and start with my left and finish out on my right. Again, totally personal preference here, but just try it out at home with you guys, and you might like that variation instead of always starting on that one side. Alrighty, so almost done here, I promise. We did actually add, I think, 2 extra exercises in this shoulder workout. Again, I was just having a really good day, so I wanted to bust out as much as I could. We actually did some face pulls. So grabbing onto a rope attachment. A rope is pretty self-explanatory here. So there's one singular rope that goes through and you're grabbing it on each end and pulling out. So especially with these face pulls, it's not a row. So it's not just a high row where you're kind of getting a squeeze in your shoulder blades. You're actually trying to pull the rope apart and almost like getting your elbows as far away from your body as possible. This will really help target the rear delt and again, not put all that tension into that middle back and even into your upper traps area. So the point there is pulling that weight as far away from your body as possible. These are a pretty common classic one. Again, I don't think I had these in my last shoulder workout, but I wanted to add a little bit more rear delts into this shoulder workout today, just because, again, I've mentioned it before, but I'll say it again, it's one of my weaker portions of my shoulders in general. Alrighty, and speaking of weaker points and rear delts, we finished out the exercise with these cable pull-aparts or cable rear delt flies, excuse me. The one little kind of twist to these guys is I'm in that bent over bent over row position. And again, I'm pulling those cables across my body. So right hand has a left cable, left has a right. You guys know what it is, pulling it across and again, keeping relatively straight arms. So all that tension ideally goes to my rear delt. Again, really important here to not squeeze into your shoulder blades, but to think about pulling that weight as far away from your body as possible. Again, this is really gonna narrow it down into that rear delt region. So overall, that was the exercise. Of course, I finished out with a little bit of some abs, but that has gotten a little repetitive to keep showing you guys. But again, as always, finishing out with some abs or calves or forearms, kind of any little accessory exercises at the end of these workouts. And as always, getting a little bit of some cardio. I typically do the cardio outside of my workout, just to kind of split it up, and this way I'm not spending like 3 hours in the gym. And I do also like to kind of go on a little run throughout my neighborhood. Just again, I mentioned it in my last post here on the Facebook, is to get some variety into these workouts. So I have a little bit of some change of scenery. I'm not always doing the same thing, and it's keeping it fresh and exciting for me. I hope you guys liked this workout. If you did, be sure to give it a like on this video, as well as comment maybe what exercise you loved. Now, if this is the second shoulder workout, have you guys tried one or the other? Which one do you like more? Let me know. Let me get some feedback in those comments. Let me see how you guys are enjoying these exercises. I've been having a great time in these 30 days. So again, feel free to subscribe with those notifications on, because you don't want to be missing these constant updates and constant reviews throughout. We are coming up on like a quarter of the way through, so we still got plenty of time left to crush it. And again, I hope you guys are enjoying all this stuff. Be sure to follow me on my Facebook as well as my Instagram, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.